Mashangu Xivambu is the Senior Manager for Maintenance and Operations in Eskom. He joins us now. Mashangu, good afternoon to you. How do you feel about what Professor Sinwell said?
Yeah, I did listen to what you were saying. I'm a little bit disappointed in the comments coming from the prof. However, maybe let me just clarify, maybe starting with the issue of load reduction, to try and explain what load reduction is. We're doing load reduction in networks which are overloaded beyond what the equipment are designed to be able to operate up to. So if we don't do load reduction in such areas, the result of that is that we are going to have failure of the equipment. And if we have got a high number of equipment failure, we cannot cope with the replacement of those units that are failing. Hence, we resolved or decided to implement load reduction in those areas in order for us to be able to curb the usage, allow the equipment to be able to cool down, so that we don't have catastrophic failure of such equipment. So it will be really unfortunate for us to say that we are avoiding to have load reduction and we run the equipment to failure, because when that happens, unfortunately, our customers will be exposed or will be left without electricity for extended periods.
The professor said that corporations pay less than people for electricity. Is that true?
Not necessarily true. Well, the tariffs are different for residential customers as well as the corporate customers. Like if you look at the supply that we give to the mines, we give them bulk supply. Like we give them supply at 132,000 volts, and they do their own transformation, because like we give them bulk supply, they do their own transformation, meaning that like they've got their own equipment to be able to step down the voltage that we're giving them to a voltage which is usable by their equipment or usable by the industry that they're supplying. So unlike residential customers, we do the transformation so they get the voltage at the level in which they're supposed to be utilizing. But over and above that, our large power users or the industries, they're actually subsidizing residential customers. For each and every kilowatt hour that is consumed by the large power users, there's a 10 cents levy that which is a subsidy to the small power users as well as our rural customers. And over and above that, there's also an additional levy which is about 43 cents per kilowatt hour, which is a levy based on the affordability of those specific companies. So if you look in terms of our tariff structure, our large power users are actually subsidizing our residential customers. If it was not because of that, they were supposed to be paying a much higher rate as compared to what they're currently paying. So it is not true that they get a lesser rate as compared to residential customers. They're actually subsidizing.
Some areas of Soweto have been without power, have been without electricity for quite a long period of time. And I understand the argument, and Mashangu, you and I have had this conversation before on this platform. Eskom will say that there's a very low payment rate, so something like less than 3% of some areas of Soweto will pay electricity, and yet they have electricity because of illegal connections. Now, at the same time yesterday, on Newzroom Afrika channel 405, we spoke to a community representative yesterday from Mafolo North in Soweto. She explained that she had a prepaid electricity box in her home. In other words, she and everyone else in her area had agreed to pay for their electricity in advance. But there was still no power to her home or in that area of Mafolo North. How has that happened?
Okay, maybe just to explain that how it happens. We have got a feeder or a line that will move from the substation to where the customers are, where we supply them with electricity. Now, on that particular feeder, you will find that it will be a small percentage of people who will be paying for electricity. Then you get a larger percentage of the people that are not paying for those services. And unfortunately, like I was listening to the comments of electricity racism or something like that was mentioned. It's just unfortunate that most of the areas where we have got load reduction will be in areas mostly where it will be in township. However, it's not only in those specific township. We had a Gulf estate in the Pretoria East, where the feeder which was supplying that particular area, it was not performing there was a high level of losses on the network, and as a result, we had a high risk of losing the equipment. It was on a load reduction until the community around that particular area decided to do something about it, and they started paying their electricity. We removed them from the load reduction schedule. They are not experiencing load reduction, because the other thing that happens, like in areas where we have got a lot of people that are consuming electricity for free, they've got indiscriminate use of electricity. Like the usage is very much abnormal, and that is the reason why we end up damaging the equipment. But the minute the community start taking responsibility and start behaving in a manner that they are using electricity responsibly, then you find that the equipment are not stressed. And as a result, when we start realizing that the loading in those specific network, because we do have online monitoring, we can be able to check what is the loading on a specific network, what is the stress level of the equipment that has been installed. And when we realize that there's no risk, we take out those feeders from load reduction. Glen Austin as well is another one, where those communities have resolved to say that they're going to take it upon themselves to make sure that, like, the people who are doing all these illegal activities, we've got a group with them where they communicate to us regularly, and we keep on dealing with those people that are misbehaving. And as a result, we have seen a reduction in the energy loss. And as a result, we have removed them from load reduction. There's a number of areas I can give you. There's a whole list of areas. Project Land is one of them, where they used to experience load reduction. But ever since the communities start paying for their electricity, we started seeing the reduction in overloading of the network and the equipment. We started seeing the reduction in the failure of the equipment. And as a result, when that happened, we take those areas out of the load reduction schedule. So even in Soweto, if all the communities of Soweto can act responsibly, they stop the illegal connections. People don't connect illegally on the network. We've got the optimum number of people that are connected on transformers. We don't have people illegally connecting, and the usage is at the design level of the equipment. There's no reason why we should have load reduction, because as Eskom, our business is to sell electricity. And when the switch is off, when it is dark in Soweto, it means that we are losing a potential to be collecting the revenue, which is supposed to be bringing money into our business. Okay. So we can't be having a business where we'll be excited by having our doors closed at all time for our customers to come in to buy the product that we're selling.
Mashangu, you know, I'm sure better than I, how deep the problems in Soweto go. And there are different people to blame for this. Some people blame the way it was set up in the 1980s. Some people blame the ANC because there was a promise made in the 1990s before the 94 election that there would be free electricity. Some people, of course, blame Eskom, and they blame you for the way that it's been managed. Is there any solution from Eskom's side to all of this? Because sitting on top of all of this is the debt, I think it's about 4 billion rand, a bit more, owed by people of Soweto to Eskom. And that's really the problem here. They can't pay it back, and you need that money. There's no way around that.
Well, the question that you are raising now, you're raising a political question. Unfortunately, I'm not a politician. I'm an engineer. I can be able to respond to the engineering questions that you are raising. But yes, there is a solution to what you're saying. If the people of Soweto can stop the indiscriminate use of electricity, if they can make sure that we don't have illegal people who are connected on the network, if we can ensure that the equipment that we've installed in those specific areas, the usage is up to the design level of the equipment, there's no reason why we're supposed to be having load reduction in Soweto. We can be able to supply electricity continuously. A study was done, and it has been proven that, like, in areas where you find that people are illegally connected on the network, the ADMD, or after diversity maximum demand in those specific areas, it goes more than 3 times what the normal usage was supposed to be. I've been in places where people are using the trolleys that you'll get from supermarkets as heaters. You find that thing being red hot. They are using that to heat up a room. So you can imagine, obviously, the type of steel that has been
seem to have lost Mashangu Xivambu there, but I think you were able to make the point, sir. Mashangu Xivambu is the Senior Manager for Maintenance and Operations at Eskom. I do appreciate the time.